All right, we are live.
Yay!
Yay! Sunday fun day over and over. Today we're coming live in my group, Intuitive Angel Messages on Facebook. So if you ever feel like coming in and joining, a large group of high vibrational people, I love to go live every single week on Sundays. And then I channel some guidance for each of you. Today I have a special guest with me. And I'm just bringing forward Rita with me. And Rita, you have been in my group for quite a long time.
I have, yes.
Mhm. And I know that you've been in several of my mediumship courses
Hmm.
in the past, and you're going to be coming into the one in January, coming up January 15th till the 30th for
Yes,
2 weeks. It's going to be a lot of fun.
it
We
is. Yes.
we have some of the students that have taken my courses before. I even have a student that took my course 3 years ago, and she's coming back into this course in
Oh,
January.
wow.
So, talk about full circle. It was literally the first course that I ever offered. And that was 3 years ago, and she's going to come and take this one again. So I'm really excited. She let me know she had some, I think it was Christmas money or birthday money, and she was going to come and join the course. And I was like, awesome. I'm like, it's been 3 years. Holy cow.
Wow.
I said, things have changed since then. I like to think that things just get better and better. At least that's my
Yeah.
motto in life, you know? And if you keep
Yeah.
saying that, then things really do get better and better because what you keep saying, you actually talk into existence. And it will be that way. And you take on that frequency, you take on that mindset, and you affirm it. So it's pretty cool. So
Yeah. Yeah.
you and me, we're going to be talking about spirituality, how we were back then versus now, and I call them the unawake days.
That's a good term.
Well, uh, and how we were back then versus now, and also, you know, did we believe in this kind of stuff back then? Did we believe in angels? No.
Mm.
Hey, like definitely not. And what happened in between there? We'll do a brief description to get us
Okay.
to where we are now, and then we're going to talk at the end. We're going to talk about your near-death experience, and your near-death experience is a bit different from the quintessential near-death experience that everybody talks
Yes.
about. So this is going to be
Hmm.
pretty cool to talk about because maybe somebody else is going to relate with your experience. Um, I haven't had the quintessential near death experience, but I would say with the health issues I've had and the hospital stays I've had, and when you can't eat food, when you can't, eat food, or if you're eating, you can't absorb nutrition because I had ulcerative colitis in the past. It
Hmm.
really for me, I felt like the veil was really thin. So I felt very light. I mean, as in not oof, in my body, I felt very light and floaty. And when I was in the hospital, I had an experience in the hospital, which was quite cool. But it wasn't like I left my body. But I'll tell you, I was right there up against that veil for a long time, for a long
Oh.
time. So everybody's coming on, joining us. Woohoo!
Hi,
Yeah!
everybody.
Woohoo! So let's talk about where we were back then versus right now and what got
Okay.
us to where we are right now. So so maybe I'll start first and talk a little bit about where I was versus what got me here now. And then you go ahead and take the lead right after me, okay? And
Okay.
maybe some of
Okay.
us here, you'll be able to relate to our experience. Um, did I believe in angels or spirit guides back in the day? Not really. Didn't really care. wasn't on my radar. I wasn't really thinking about it. What I was thinking about was getting to work, and then getting off work, and then going out and partying. That pretty much sums it up. And that went for quite a long time. Oh, and that and going and laying out on the hot beaches, where I was living, back in that time in the Okanagan. So we would have these like beautiful beaches and wineries, and I worked in fine dining, and so we would have some really nice high-end wines after work, and one thing would lead to another, and then one year led to another, and one series of events led to another, and then my body just said, no more, and it completely shut down. So
Oh,
and that's the beauty I love about this, is that I can laugh about it now. I can be lighthearted about it now because I'm not in it. I'm not entrenched
mhm.
in it. I can look back and go, yeah, that taught me a lot. And oh, by the way, next Wednesday, I'm coming live in my group Intuitive Angel Messages on Facebook, and I'm going to be talking about suffering and surrendering. And that's really like suffering and surrendering also in the chaos. So that's going to be an interesting topic. And I'm really going to dive in off the deep end on that one. So if you guys feel like you're kind of going through the ringer a bit right now, you might want to join me for that. And I'm also going to be answering questions and channeling some guidance for your questions as well. Um, so what happened was my body started to shut down. I was unable to eat food, and that led to a series of hospital stays, change in diet, medications, different series of treatments. Natural is what I was trying to aim for, because I was like, I don't want to be on drugs forever. Plus, the drugs really, the doctors told me that the drugs would only last for so long, and then my body would just stop responding to them. So I knew that my time was going to run out. I knew that I had to find another way. And ooh, was I stubborn in keeping my large intestine. Ooh, I was like 8 years. I'm going to do whatever it takes, until finally the last day in the hospital was me doing my best for 2 weeks to be as stubborn as I normally was. And I remember the surgeon coming down and looking at my x-ray, and he sat next to my hospital bed, and he said to me, so how long have you been going on like this for? And I said, about 8 years. And he says, so can you see the next 8 years of your life like this? And I was like, no. And I remember thinking, oh, I got to change some things here, because I really couldn't see the next 8 years like that. So I think that that was a real rude awakening for me. He was really straight talking with me. There's no bedside manner with this man. It was just straight up, like straight to the point. He had 5 kids, and he was a surgeon, and he was working all the time. And he moved across the country to be here. He didn't have any time for fluff. So
Yeah.
I actually look back on that and I appreciate it now. And back then I was like, I can't believe he was so harsh with me. you
Oh,
know? So
oh,
so it basically came down to that really signaled a lot in my life. If you don't like something that's going on, and how long has it been going on for? And can you see it going on for the same length of time into your future? And if not, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? So the drug treatment stopped working for my body. Everything stopped working for me in the hospital that last day. And I realize now this was meant to happen. Cause like, how much longer can this girl push it? So nothing was
oh,
working. And so ultimately, I remember my stay in the hospital, and I'll talk about that when we start talking about our near death experience and me being really close to the veil in the hospital. But what led to all these changes in my life and to where I am now is the suffering. Did
mhm.
I like being in it? No. Did I want to repeat it? Absolutely not. It was off and on years of really intense suffering and pain, internal bleeding. Um, For those of you that don't know much about ulcerative colitis, it's really polyps and ulcers that form on the inside of your large intestine, and it's not a good time. So, you know, that suffering and my body breaking down is what led me to a complete standstill in my life. I had to move back home. Here I was, 27, 28 years old, living in the basement at my mom's house. And it's like, I knew I had to be there. At least I had somewhere to go.
Yeah.
At least I had somewhere to go. And so nothing was still on my radar about spirituality whatsoever. But I remember my dog was getting ill and he died, the love of my life at that time. And I had to break up with a soulmate partnership, and my body was sick for a year and I didn't know how to get well. So it was like kind of a breakdown kind of cry, like loss of hope kind of cry. So when that happened, my angel opened up probably, I'd say, about 10 to 20 feet in front of me. I didn't know what it was at first because I'd never experienced anything like that. I'd had intuitive feelings through my body in my lifetime. I'd had like gut feelings when I was driving, or, break up with that man that you're with. He's not good for you. But I wouldn't listen the first few times, like we all do. But I didn't know where that was coming from. I didn't register who was giving me these strong intuitions and internal guidance. No register on my radar. So when this happened, it was such an expansive amount of energy that I really couldn't put it into words, because there's nothing here on earth that would compute or relate to that. And she slowly, and I mean ever so slowly, like this, gradually came towards me. I was like, oh my God, this energy is coming towards me. It was a little bit of alarm. And then, but it felt so loving. It was pure love and light. Like it was the most ultimate loving energy you'd ever experienced in your life. And she passed right through my body and out my back. And when that happened, I went from complete sorrow and despair, and I went to bliss out of my mind and so love filled. Not only was I feeling love, but I felt the love from this energy for me. And this energy was pure love. And it took me about 45 minutes to sit there in shock before I went and told my mom. She said, that must have been your guardian angel. I was like, oh my gosh, what else could it be? And then we went to Costco and I saw a deck of angel cards, and I felt very drawn to pick them up and purchase them. Best $10 I ever spent back then. Now they're more like 20, 25, but I don't care because they're beautiful. They're just absolutely stunning. I mean, and so when I started to use the angel cards, I didn't know how to use them. And I had no one to help me. There was no idea of going on to, a group on Facebook or a chat group or anyone to help me. So over the years, it was like, as I started to practice, my channel started to open and I started to practice clairaudience. And then I was being taught how to connect with them and learn from them. So everything that I've learned over the last 15 years is really what I bring into the Mediumship for Beginners course and the Mediumship 102 course. I bring it in there and I teach exactly what I've been taught. And everything I teach is in alignment with what they'd like me to teach. So if it's purposeful, meaningful, if it's going to make a difference, if it's good for everyone, that's what I teach. Anything else other than that, I don't bring it to the forefront. And so in that moment, I could always feel her energy in the room with me, because she had opened herself up and she passed through my body and she made her presence known. So then I could always sense that I wasn't alone. And that it was just such a jaw dropper. I'm never alone. Wow. Like, because before I would always think I was alone. Oh, I'm always alone, you know. So the subsequent years, I would practice angel cards on my aunt's tenants. You know, they would come all over the world. I'm like, you want an angel card reading? You know, I've never had an angel card reading. Wow, that was accurate. Holy wow. You know, and I do it on myself. And as I practiced, I've opened my abilities and I kept going. And then it really broke it down how to do it. And now I'm sharing that with everybody, which I'm thrilled about. So that's how I came to believe in the spirit world, among other experiences I've had. You know, Jesus coming in and chatting with me. I've looked up, I've seen Jesus like a shimmery gold cloud above my head. And I would remember it was during that eclipse we had like several
Oh,
years
yeah.
ago. I was in the middle of a reading and I looked up and there was this energy of Jesus. I said, "What is this?" And he
Wow.
goes, "That's me." I said,
Wow.
"Oh, okay." So I've just
Oh,
had a series of events, but nothing really scares me. And even when I'm introduced or coming into a home with an energy I'm not aware of, it doesn't really scare me because I just know that this energy may need help. And I just bring in Jesus or Archangel Michael to come and help cross it over or talk to it, communicate, or I act as the translator between Jesus and the soul so that the souls can cross over. But I'm never fearful. And I think that's really important. You don't want to live a life in fear because then you're going to be bringing in that frequency into your reality as the manifester of your reality. And life's not that fun when you're in fear all the time.
mm.
And I'm about enjoying this experience. I mean, I came this far, so I think it's important to enjoy as much of it as I can.
Yeah.
So, what was your experience? It's like you were totally in the unawakened
I,
too.
I was like the typical zombie, just
Yep,
stumbling
living
through
life,
life.
going to work,
Yeah,
coming
going to work,
home.
and we never went to church growing up. I thought angels were just made up, you
Me
know,
either.
you
Me
know.
either.
Um, and my life was always just like a struggle. It seemed like I never had good luck. Everything always seemed to go against me.
Wow.
Um,
Wow.
but ever since I was a child, I would see like spirits, and I was very empathic too.
Wow.
And doors would open and close, and we would hear footsteps and see shadows, and it was like, yeah, that's the ghost. So we were never
Hey, Bob.
scared. Yeah, it's Bob. but I never really believed in angels. I knew there was something on the other side, but I never thought of angels.
Yeah, me either.
And then when I had my near death experience, that woke me up a little bit. I'm like, okay, there's something on the other side. Maybe there are angels, but I still didn't. I'm like, nah, they're made up. Like, I still didn't believe it. I knew there was something, but I didn't connect it with like the typical angel.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't make that connection. But when I signed up for your first 101 course that I ever took last June,
Oh wow, that was
in
last
between,
June.
yeah, in
That was
between,
a good time.
it was between when I signed up and when the class started, I had a dream. And in my lifetime prior, I could probably only name like 3 or 4 dreams I ever remembered. I just never remembered dreams.
Really?
This one, I still
Wow.
remember it vividly.
Wow.
And it was Archangel Sandalphon. But it took me about 2 months to figure out who it was
Wow.
because I'd never heard of him.
Yeah, or experienced anything like that
I
before?
know, and it's like then as I was going through your course and we were calling in energies and I was feeling it physically, I'm like, wow, this is real. I'm
Yeah.
feeling this.
Yeah. You
And
can't
then,
really fake the entire group having the same experience. All 45 people are delusional. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah, and then I started putting things together and I'm like, oh my gosh. And then I'm like, in that dream, he even bought me a pair of red sandals.
Oh, how
And,
cool.
I'm like, and he had a fiddle like hanging on a strap over his back and he was singing and dancing and I'm like, duh. But I
Wow.
had never heard of him. So I didn't
Wow.
know who it was.
Did you look up pictures of him
I
afterwards? Because I'm
did.
not. And did he have a fiddle or anything with him, or?
He had I think a harp or something. He had a
Yeah,
musical instrument.
yeah,
Yeah.
because I
And he
swear I
was
saw him
really,
with a
really
harp or something. Yeah.
really tall and thin.
When I'm channeling, I can hear them playing harp,
Okay.
or I can hear them all singing. It's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
It's all in harmony, or I can hear them all clapping. So
Yeah.
that's really. I've never heard a fiddle though yet.
I don't
But I'm
know.
open to it.
Maybe that was just for me. I don't know.
That's pretty special.
It was
Wow.
awesome. And it was the dream was about I was in a new city starting a new life.
Wow.
And we were in like an open air market that kind of zigzagged up a hillside. And he was helping me buy things for a new apartment to start my new life. And I'm like, I think that was my introduction. I
Wow.
really think so. And that's when it first clicked that, hey,
Started.
angels
Is
are real.
did you end up moving to a city like that? And
No, I didn't, but I feel like my life started over.
yeah, yeah, it's like
And
a reboot. I
yeah.
remember getting tarot card readings. I had two in one day. The angels guided me to go get a tarot card reading from a place downtown, and in the same day, my aunt pulled out some tarot cards
Oh
for
wow.
me during a family event, and it was identical reading. I was like, you gotta be
Wow.
kidding me. In the same
Oh
day, like,
wow.
come on. And it was that tower card, the one that's on
Oh.
fire and crumbling down,
Mhm.
like, your life. But for me, it was my life was going to come crumbling down. And that's when I went into the hospital the last time.
Oh.
And it did. Everything came crumbling down, but it has been
Yeah.
pretty smooth sailes afterwards. So it's been a lot better. It's been a lot better.
Yeah.
So for you, you're having such a vivid. I would call that a visitation. Um,
Yeah. I think it was. Yeah.
Sandalphon, how wonderful! I should channel him and see what he'd like to bring through. Maybe at the very end of today, we'll bring him in and see what he
Okay.
has to
Okay.
say.
And since then, my life, it's not been a struggle. It's getting
Oh,
easier and easier. And
wow, divine
about,
intervention.
yeah. And it's like all these synchronicities are just falling into place and
Amazing.
abundance is starting. And it's like Friday, I went to the mailbox and there was a random check in the mail. And I'm like,
Isn't that
yay.
fantastic? Wonderful.
So, yeah, it's just,
Bring on the abundance. I'm open
yeah,
to it always. I don't care how it comes in. You just bring it on in.
bring it in. Yeah. Yeah,
I
it's
don't.
just like I did a total 360 after that.
Isn't that wild? We'll definitely bring him in then. We're going to see what he has to say. That's going to
Yeah.
be awesome. You know, my experience. So this is more like so your near death experience. So this is
Hmm.
a dream, and you were like with him, viewing what was to take place in your future.
Right.
Is
Yeah.
my
Like a new life.
And
Yeah.
you know what? Some people will have health issues and that will awaken
Hmm.
them. Some will have vivid visitations of what's to come, or, out of body experiences, near death experiences. Some people will have some form of trauma or suffering in their lives. And that triggers the awakening. It triggers you to move into a different direction.
Yeah. At that time, I had a lot of stress.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I was laid off my job. I didn't know if I would even have a job to go back to.
Wow.
So that
So he
might have been
really,
part of the trigger. Yeah.
yeah, he really came in and helped you during that time.
Hmm. Yeah.
Often I find that some archangels, they're just viewing us more from a distance, and they're just seeing if we need them or if we're a vibrational match for their assistance. And other archangels are really close, and I know the person's called them in to live with them or to be with them, or they've always come with them through every incarnation. Like Archangel Michael comes through with me. I asked him, "Why are you here as acting as a spirit guide?" He said, "Because your soul asked me to, and I come in every lifetime." I
Oh,
was like,
wow.
"Okay." So it's
Wow.
pretty smart. All right. Pretty awesome. But anybody can ask Archangel Michael to move in. It's the best thing. It will be the bestest thing you've. But if you feel like Sandalphon or Uriel or Haniel or Raphael, you ask whomever you like to come and live with you. You could ask all of them. I don't know if you can handle that kind of high vibrational energy in your home, but let us know how it goes. So when I was in the hospital and I was starving for the umpteenth time, I remember I'd have this curtain around my bed, and I remember panicking because I knew my time was running out, and I was really stubborn. I didn't want to get surgery. So I was like really chatting with Archangel Michael, and he never once told me I had to have surgery, or he never told me what to do. Never. But he lined it up in, well, if you do choose this path, life will be a lot easier. And he was just really calm and patient with me, which
So
is
he was
wise.
letting you make the decision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ultimately, the decision was taken from me at the end, though, because nothing was working. So it was either I keep starving and emaciating, or I had to do something drastic to get my health back. And, when you're down to 100 pounds, you don't have much room to budge. So you just have to
Right.
do what needs to get taken. I was too stubborn for too long. I remember after that experience, I said, Kristen, you will never be that stubborn again. Never. You will always look at other options as a viable potential rather than being stubborn and shutting things down. But
Oh.
you know us indigos, huh, Rita? Rita's like, yep.
Yep.
Stubborn sometimes. So I remember seeing Archangel Michael's energy and other energies and like orbs, beautiful, like blue and purple, and they were around my bed. As soon as I would go outside the curtain, I wouldn't see them anywhere else in the hallway because I have my pole, and I'd be walking down the hall getting some exercise, and then I come back to my bed and there would be the orbs, and I was like, oh my gosh. So another thing I tried was calling in Archangel Raphael to come and heal my body. And I saw just movement of energy with shoulders and a head. And it came up over the curtain, and I knew it was him. I could feel his energy, and he came down, and the energy went right into my abdomen. And I just laid there while he was working on my abdomen, healing me. But something deep inside me told me that this wasn't going to do the full trick. I'm going to have to take something more drastic in my hands, drastic measures. So I feel like my soul signed up for all of this, to have this experience, to have surgery, to go through this. And this health issue and this suffering is what actually saved my ass, basically put.
Wow.
So yeah, so remember, when you're going through the ringer and things are really difficult, I never see the angels feeling sorry for me. They're actually they use a wording like they're they know my soul came to earth for the contrast and to learn and expand and to grow, and they're actually hanging back and watching to see how I'm going to handle the suffering. And they know that within that contrast will bring in more light and move me in a different direction. So if you want to look at what's happening on the planet right now as a collective, we're all being forced to slow down. And even if individually maybe you're not slowing down, there are going to be aspects of your reality with other people and businesses, companies that are slowing down. And that will in turn also, with going through the hardships or the hard times, it's having us redirect our attention in another direction. We've got to move, we've got to shift, we've got to change. So if everything was very easy and effortless, then there wouldn't be much reason or just cause for change. And change is needed at this time. So, collectively. So, how fascinating is this? So, is this going to be your third or fourth time you're coming into the mediumship course in January?
Oh, let's see. It will be, is it the third 101? And I took the 102 as well. So I guess my
Right.
fourth class with you. Yeah.
Third beginners. So,
Yeah.
when you're learning in these courses, like how many different ways do you feel that you're shown? Because for somebody that's not clairvoyant,
Mhm.
this form of learning how to communicate with spirit isn't going to work. But somebody
Right.
over here who's clairsentient, oh, it's going to work for them. So, how many different ways do you think that you in the course are you learning how to communicate with spirit? Like, how many
Oh,
different ways are you shown? Okay, well, if that didn't
I
work, we're going to try that. If that
yeah,
okay, then we'll
I
try that.
think we try everything.
Yeah, like
If yeah, we
at
go
least
through
about
all the clairs.
10.
Yeah.
Yeah, the different clairs, yes and
Hmm.
no responses in the body, sensing
Right.
energy, the angel cards.
The angel
And
cards.
and
Yeah.
for you, why are the angel cards so important to you?
I feel like they're almost. I call them training wheels.
Yeah,
They get you started. They get that connection started. And I love it because I can feel the energy in my hands.
me too. Big time.
And yeah,
Like my arm.
I mean, it's like a good beginner step, isn't it? To be able to feel the energy, and then you can feel like now I can feel my guardian angels standing there, and I still feel the energy in my hands, but sometimes I don't even have to acknowledge it as much. It's just I know that's the card. Now
Yeah,
it's like I can look
got
at
your
him and
soul
say,
to it. You're drawn
yeah,
to it. It's
mm-hmm,
like
yeah,
popping out to you. Some people get tingling in the fingertips, and some people get
yeah,
like a burning sensation. Heat.
mm-hmm.
Some people, their finger goes down. For me, it didn't go down right away in the beginning. Did it go down for you? Because for me, I
It
had to like
hasn't
it was like
yet.
tingling in the
Yeah,
beginning.
mine is tingling. Sometimes it feels like a pinprick.
Yeah,
When you get over the card, it's like
prickly.
a sharp, yeah,
Yeah.
sharp prick.
And some people get the energy to hear or to hear, and I just ask them to ask their angels to pull it up into the fingertips. And then over time of practicing with the cards, ultimately your finger will go down to the card. So, what's
Oh,
the most important thing when you have the deck of cards fanned out and you've got your hand over? Are we thinking a lot, or do we have a still mind when we are
we have
doing
a
that?
yeah, we have to have a still mind. Absolutely.
So, how many people, how many persons on this planet really have a quiet mind?
Very few. Very, very few. I'd say nobody all the time.
So that's what we learn. We learn how to
Yeah.
quiet our minds, even if for just a brief moment. Yeah,
Hmm.
Lisa also can get like jolts or pinpricks in her fingers. Um,
Oh, yeah.
oh, isn't that fascinating? Yeah. Hey,
Oh,
if they're going to come in any chakra that they notice that you notice their energy. So if it's up through here, or if it's down your arm, or if you all of a sudden you're like coughing out of the blue and you don't know why, and you felt like some energy just hit you in the throat chakra, someone's knocking on your door and they want to chat with you. So if
oh,
anybody is interested or would like to join us, and I always say this because if it's flat and the energy's not there and you're just like, don't come and join us. Like, just don't come. If you are interested in coming and learning about channeling and mediumship, and you're feeling curious or drawn or pulled in this direction energetically, you can check out my website. I put it on the screen there. And I'll put the links up above after this and in the comments, and also below the YouTube video in the comments area. Yeah. So let's channel Sandalphon. I don't
okay.
think I've channeled Sandalphon often, maybe once or twice, if that. So let's bring him in and see.
Okay.
Let's ask him what happened to you back in that day, and then we'll just see what he would like to relay to us
Okay.
as a whole. I mean, everybody,
Okay.
everybody.
Everybody.
Oh, he's even the way he talks is a little melodic. He's
Hmm.
coming right down above me, shot down, felt it through the top of my head, And if anybody wants to call in Sandalphon, you can right now. And with a still mind, you'll just sense where the energy is around you. You're looking for warmth or pressure. Anybody can do this. So he's coming in right here and then down my back. And he's thanking me for relaying his words, his guidance. So we're just curious to know what happened with Rita in that day when you came to visit her and she was with you, having that near, well, we'll say an out of body experience, really, I suppose. Visitation. He's saying visitation, yes.
Visitation.
He says he's looking above the planet and he's looking for the ones who are calling out for help or that have had enough with where they are. He's also looking for the ones that are close to awakening or vibrationally, energetically ready to awaken. And you are all of these.
Oh.
So he's just like, you know, the grind. Okay, yeah. And your energy must have been high vibrational enough or ready enough for this transition. Or else he wouldn't have done it. Okay. Oh, they keep saying this in every one of my readings, and he's saying the same thing. Believing is the key to receiving.
Oh, wow.
As the manifestors of our realities that we are. So they really want us to hone in and focus on what you want to manifest more of in your reality, whether it's your health or abundance or whatever you want. Affirmations are really wonderful, he's saying, to use to get you into this feeling place. The law of attraction, and he's also saying the secret. Believe, dear ones, believe. Okay. He says, simply put, Rita was ready.
I was ready.
He says this next message that he has is for Rita. Okay. He wants you to go within. Feel. He's talking about that good feeling place within you. And he's talking about the light-filled place within you. The comfy, cozy, happy, content place. That place of inner peace within you. And he wants you, he's using words that I use. As Kristen says, he wants you to milk it. Revel in it. And he says, then shall you create more of moving forward. So the contrast of where you go sometimes is outside of this, on the peripheral, worry, concern, scrambling to ensure that your needs are being met, bringing in enough money or enough abundance. All he wants you to do, we don't have to struggle or try anymore. He just wants you to come within this good feeling place within and milk it. And just feel it and revel in it. And he wants you, for over time, you will learn to draw that out for longer and longer periods of time and just revel in it. And he's showing me your cat. Your cat helps you get to that good feeling place too. And your cat loves being there with you too.
Oh, she's right here. She's right beside me.
Because she's loving this good feeling place too.
She is, yeah.
She could be outside or in another part of the, home, but
Yeah.
she's right there cuddled up.
Yep, she's right here, yep.
Animals are really good at doing this, he says. Okay. When you continuously do this for lengthier and lengthier periods of time, this is going to allow them to step forward into your reality, into your life, and bring about substantial changes that will result in you being able to do this inner peace, contentment, grounded, good feeling place all the time.
Oh, that would be awesome. That would be awesome.
And he shows himself with his hands over your life, like working on things and making changes in your life to make this happen and for this to be your dominant focus and frequency of light and love. Wow. He's showing me the fiddle, but he says he also has a harp. But it's a little harp. Like it's a little harp that he plays
Yeah.
with his fingers. Like it's not a full floor harp. Isn't that cool?
Huh.
Okay, so he says the message that he has for everyone is believe. Believe and you will achieve. Believe and you will receive. You are the manifestors of your realities, dear one. Co-create with myself or your own divine team, your angels, your spirit guides. Ask for what you wish for. Write it down on paper. Say it out loud. Think it. Believe. Believe it into being. For each of you are the manifestors, the co-creators of your realities, the creators. But when they say co-creators, you're co-creating with your angels and with him or whomever you wish, right?
Mm-hmm.
He says this dear one is good at doing this. She used to buck the current. She used to row against the stream. She used to take work or jobs that were not best suited for her in order to bring in an income. She used to go to the interviews, get hired, and then as she was going to the job for her first day, not listening to the internal guidance she was getting from her team, even when she asked for help, she ignored the feeling. And then as she was going to her first day at work, they did this. They clamped down on my chest. And it was so uncomfortable. I turned around and went home. I
Wow.
did that with at least 3 or 4 jobs. Oh, I got the job. And I just head home because my angels wouldn't let me go. I'm serious.
Wow.
Yeah, my angels didn't let me go to my first day at work. And my aunt would say, "You did it again?" I said, "I don't know what to tell you, but there must be something in the works here because they're not letting me go. So they must be doing something else in my life, working behind the scene of my life to make something else happen." And it always worked out that way.
Wow.
So please follow your internal guidance system, your internal wisdom, dear ones, for that's where the answers reside within. He's looking me right in the face and he's smiling at me like, "You're a stubborn one, but we got you in the end," kind of look. Boy, did they ever. He's looking over at my guardian angel, Agnes, and he says, "You've got a really good guardian angel by your side here. She doesn't let you get away with guff. And she steers the ship. She steers you in the right direction with your highest and best good in the forefront, irregardless of what you may think in the moment." Oh, I like him. All right, Rita, do you have a question for Sandalphon at all?
Um, oh gosh.
Yeah.
I can't think. I mean, I'm just trying to absorb his message.
I know. We're going to have to watch this back.
Yeah, I can't think of a question right offhand. I just know that I'm going to communicate with him often.
He is kind of melodic.
Yeah,
He's not just
yeah,
relaying a message. He's like kind of like you know. Um,
yeah,
One person saying that's because that I was meant to help each of you awaken. You know, if you told me that 5 years ago, I would have laughed and walked away. But it's a joy. It's an absolute joy, and you guys bring as much joy to me as I hopefully am bringing joy into your lives. Some people are going to resonate with people, and some people aren't, and that's okay. You know, in 2021 we're likely going to have less patience and less tolerance of certain, you know, behaviors or people in our lives, and that's okay too. It's just making clear way for all the good stuff coming, and that's what matters most. So the last words of guidance is love yourselves, love each other, and believe that you can manifest your own reality. Believe. That's the word for today, he says,
believe,
is believe.
believe.
Thank you, dear ones.
Oh.
He's got his harp. And I'm like, okay. I can see him with his harp. I love it. I love it. You know, the more people that I can help awaken, the better.
Yeah,
And then I love to think that each of you will be a domino effect for everyone in your lives and your animals and the people in your lives. And even if you're not in close contact with anyone right now, like even just your high vibrational frequency pouring out from you in the grocery store onto others, that makes that is icing on the cake for me. Okay, you guys, I really enjoyed that, Rita. That was awesome.
I enjoyed it too. I enjoyed it
My
too. Yeah.
goodness. Thank you for joining me. And thanks for joining us, everyone. And I'm looking forward to January 15th coming up in 5 days. Super excited. For those of you that have signed up already, get ready for an email to join into the private group where the course will be held on January 13th. And I'm taking people right up until January 15th. So come and join us if you feel guided. Love you guys. Bye.